Welcome to another another exciting episode of Smash Writing. I am your host for this episode, your boy, Paul. And today, for the first time, I think, maybe for the first time, we reviewed so many films on here, both through the blogs, podcast, and our YouTube channel. This is the first time I'm really doing a family or kids movies. More or less is definitely for the kids. Today I am reviewing the film The Bad Guys, which is an animated film that involves basically animals and humans in a world where there's a group of certain animals that are bad guys who live up to their image. We'll get to more details in the plot in just 1 second. Let's talk about some of the background to this. I didn't really know much about this film. I didn't know this was a very popular children's book series. So very awesome that, the first time I'm kind of of course, Justin does his own solo content as well, that we get to jump into this new genre. Every type of entertainment, every time we can review something, we can step into another market. It is an awesome thing. So here we are, The Bad Guys. The film stars Sam Rockwell as Mr. Wolf. Let me get some more details up here for you. Sam Rockwell is Mr. Wolf, Mark Malone as Mr. Snake, Aquafina as Miss Tarantula, Craig Robinson as Mr. Stark, Anthony Ramones as Mr. Piranha, and that's just of the main team. Now, the film turned out to be a big hit. The budget was 69 to 80 million, and the film as of right now grossed 244 million. So definitely puts that in the success range, I would say, for Dreamworks, which I just got done watching it on Peacock. So check it out on Peacock, guys, if you would like, if you haven't seen it in theaters. So at this point, this will be spoilers if you haven't seen the film. In this film, instantly the film starts off with Mr. Wolf and Mr. Snake talking. And I was kind of confused, as I said. I didn't know anything about going into this, so we don't know if the animals coexist with humans, because in the opening scene, the humans seem to be afraid of the snake and the wolf, which obviously are some of the most recognized dangerous animals that are often confused with their personalities and their traits of what their job is here. But nevertheless, we quickly learn the reason why the people are scared of them is not because they're animals, because in this world, animals, at least certain animals, can coexist with humans. The reason why they're afraid of the wolf and the snake is not because they're a wolf and a snake, but because they're Mr. Wolf and Mr. Snake. 2/3 of the popular crime unit, the Bad Guys. We also learned during an epic speed chase that there is Miss Tarantula, who is kind of like their hacker. There is a piranha, and there is a shark as well, and they all have their little parts in the team, which is cute. Then it begins that they rob banks, they do all that bad stuff, but one day after one of their next successful missions, they are watching the news, and Snake is celebrating his birthday as well as robbing the bank. But on the news, they catch the mayor of LA basically calling them sad souls, and they do this for this, they do that for that, yada, yada, yada. And it makes them wonder, we have our reasons why we do this. So No, but it's Mr. Wolf. It plays out in Mr. Wolf's head that he wants to plan a mission to steal this award that they give to like the most incredible being of the year. So they form a plan to steal this trophy. And naturally, the mission doesn't go quite as planned, and they ended up getting caught. Now, it's up to Mr. Wolf, who just seconds away from getting into the cop car, decides that he wants to pull off one last thing to save him and his team, and that is to convince the winner of the award, who goes by the name Professor Rupert Marmelin, who is a guinea pig. Let that sink in. A guinea pig. Swirl's twisted. You'll find out more in literally like a minute. That, he can help them redeem themselves and everything else like that. So they, start to regroup, and over a week's time, they get under the people's skin that they did kind of turn the leaf. But then something happens. Another item gets stolen that they really didn't know about. And that's when they get locked up again. And, they're labeled as the typical stereotypes and so forth like that. And they get sent off to prison. And now the group started to have a little discussion, and they're arguing with each other because Marmelin revealed that Wolf was 100% changing his style, and he was basically going to leave his team behind, and his friends was holding him behind from changing, pretty much making an inner civil war amongst the friends that were oh so close. So Mr. Snake and Mr. Wolf have a fight. But then out of nowhere, another person appears, and it's Crimson Paul. Now, we don't know who Crimson Paul is at this very moment, and they are just kicking butt. Bam, bam, all the guards. Bam, 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 bam. They're doing all of that. Well, this person is doing all that. It is revealed to be none other than the mayor, who pretty much basically coached them into coming clean and planning this mission and everything else like that. So it's kind of like another twist, and she reveals herself as the Crimson Paul, who at first started stealing stuff and was stealing stuff just to steal stuff, and kept stealing the same things just to prove that she can do it over and over and over again, because foxes can be sneaky, because she is a fox. But then, she tells that she turned the life of good, and when she started switching to Crimson Paul to helping people, that's when she got into politics and to continue to make a difference, and so forth. But, just as she's willing to get all of them to clean their names, and by proving that Marmelin is the real criminal in all of this, the guinea pig is the criminal. Mr. Snake and the crew's like, you are still going to turn your back on us, and they walk away. So now it's up to Mr. Wolf and Diane, as she goes by, Diane Foxington. I know as like children's, like the fox got to have a fox name in it, but can we stop that? Just, kids are very smart. They can see that it's a fox. It doesn't need to be Foxington. Not creative. Anyway, all jokes aside there. So they still go on the mission to prove that Marmelin is the true mastermind. And it's going, and, everybody but Mr. Snake comes back, and they all team up. And then here's the kicker. Marmalin is now working with Mr. Steak, so he traps them, and he reveals that Mr. Steak told them what was going on, and blah, blah, blah. This becomes a double cross of a double cross of a double cross. Let's call it double cross of a double cross of a double cross, because Mr. Steak all along was still helping his friends, but since he has more of the harder image of being Mr. Grumpy, he basically kept everything going the way it was supposed to go, but he was still controlling certain strengths. Another character is the chief of police, who goes by the name of Misty Luggins. Her goal has been to catch the bad guys all along, and she kept having these false hopes of giving a rest, and finally the five of them agreed that they do want to turn the leaf, and Mr. Wolf says, hey, you told me this was your dream. Here's the cuffs. Put them on. We are changing. We're not running anymore, and so forth. A very touching moment because everybody gets that ending. They go into prison, and because of good behavior, they are released within 1 year. And of course, Diane picks them up, and they go off into the sunset. Now, I don't know how many books. I literally just got done watching this. It's actually the details are up on my screen as you saw that I was looking. I don't know of the 16 books that to my understanding, are in this film. I don't know if it's just like one book, one film. Who knows? Because you can create a series like that. So I don't fully know the details of how many books involved in this book, in this movie. But nevertheless, let's talk about actually reviewing it now. First off, the graphics from DreamWorks, stellar. I don't think they could have done the graphics any better. Next thing I'd have to give them high praise on is the story arc, redemption, never judging a book by its cover. These are good areas to touch upon, definitely with kids growing, that are growing up, and what you see on TV or what you see one person do, you can't judge a book by its cover until you get to know them. And there's more layers to these characters. They explain that there was the image of a wolf being a big bad wolf, and he calls out all the books that says the wolf is the villain, so he never got a fair shake. So instead of continuing to fight, at some point he gave up and just took on the role as Mr. Wolf, the big bad wolf, which is said for Mr. Snake, Tarantula, Piranha, and Shark. So giving him layers and explaining the background and giving a story that you can't judge a book by its cover. And if you are bad, you can change too. You always got to give somebody a second chance. Once again, a good learning lesson. The voices going with the characters is a great touch. Mr. Wolf, Sam Rockwell as Mr. Worf, huge fan of his. Same with Craig Robinson. Awkwafina, I just not too much really a fan of, and I really don't know much about Mark Morone to really give my opinion on what he has done before. But I do think everybody lived up and gave the right voice, because you can't judge their acting. You got to judge how they are performing with their voice. And I think every character and every actor kind of did a great job at doing that. The story was fun. Definitely for a family to watch. Definitely for kids to root for the main characters. In the end, if I'm going to rate this film probably right around 90%. And I'm saying it's a good film to watch. Can it be better? I think a lot of times a lot of films can be better, but there are things that when you look at family and children films, you got to really nitpick. giving it a twist of a twist, I did appreciate it. It's a must watch film. I'm not saying it's not just because it's on like an A plus or superior film. I do think this will stand out amongst the kids movies. I don't know if it'll handle a test of time. I will be curious to see if there will be a sequel announcement or anything like that. But as of right now, I'm giving that film an A, 90%. And if you got kids, have them check it out. Like I said, it's streaming on Peacock right now. Until next time, bye bye.